Over 90% of startup businesses fail within the first 3 years. The first few employees are the key to building culture, a good foundation, and are mission critical. So why is it so hard for me to find someone to work for me as a foreigner?
All right, here we go.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Pursuit of Coconuts. I'm following my calling to create a global social enterprise and document it right here. A journey that changed my life from the hustle and bustle of a large city to the green heart of the Philippines. My name is Poland, a Cambodian American in a foreign land, pursuing the challenge to uplift the community of low-income farmers. A life-changing move with a bit of a culture shock is an understatement. First of all, I look Filipino and get mistaken as one all the time, but I am not. The language, I didn't even know the differences. Tagalog, Bisaya, and tons of dialects. All I knew was mahal kita and tabo and yeah. Okay, my kids are half Filipino and my wife is full-blooded, but raised in Cali. My only understanding was the taste of adobo and sinigang, that there's always a nurse in the family, and man, can all them Filipinos can sing. Aside from a few vacation and visiting popular tourist areas, I hadn't spent any time in the province. And we now are surely in the province. No coffee shops, no fast food, lots of downtime, and lots of tagay. It's like the drinking is a pastime everyone partakes in. Side note, tagay is where one cup is passed around by a gunner, the person who pours the alcohol, and the gunner makes sure that everyone drinks and the drinks keep flowing. Sharing the same cup, all that saliva with everyone, ew. I was ready to start to figure things out, learning about the community I want to serve, focus on the business that I wanted to start to build capacity to give back to the community and create jobs. But I don't know if I was ready to tagay. I knew I had a lot to learn. I knew I had to get started. I knew I had to hire someone, but who? A business guru named Pat Bet David says,
who do I hire first as my first employee? Do I hire somebody in sales, marketing, operations, accounting, finance, product development, legal? Who do I hire first, right?
Answer, hire your opposing strength. In this cross-cultural context, this means I need to hire someone who really knows the language, the culture, the lay of the land, pretty much a local Filipino. Obviously, but I didn't know how hard it would be. This website says that the poverty level is above 20% in Bohol. Someone needs a job, right? Man, was I in for a surprise. A large portion of the population in the province did not speak English, or English enough for me to understand. I asked around, no response. Okay, I'm sure family would be familiar with me and would want to help me. I asked lots of my wife's family and nothing. Post it to the world and have people share. Someone should reach out. Again, nope. Imagine all I needed was someone to tag along and tell me how things work here. Maybe just translate and answer questions I have. I was able to meet with a few people, but it was a struggle to even get them to sit down and talk. Once I did talk to them, they just went ghost. Zero, zip, no interest. It was said that some would want to work for a foreigner and get paid. Maybe the thought of some foreigner talking about creating a social enterprise was something they couldn't comprehend. Maybe I was just seen as all talk. Maybe sharing my calling scared them off. Maybe they didn't care that I would pay them better than they were getting paid. Or even getting paid because they didn't even have a job. Come on, 20% of the people not employed. How discouraging is that? I can't even find anyone. I started to think I wasn't welcomed here. How can I be a part of the change if I can't even be a part of the conversation? I felt called here to help and serve, called here to create jobs, called here to be a part of the community, or so I thought. God, You brought me here. Why is it so hard to find someone to work with me? Why do I feel like such an outsider? No, I wouldn't believe that God called me all this way just to ruin my family's lives. Heck, my wife, my kids, my dog, we gave up everything we had and moved from everyone we love, friends and family. I couldn't accept that. I wouldn't accept that. It says in Hebrews 11:6, and without faith it is impossible to please him. For he who comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is the rewarder of those who seek him. I had to believe that there was a reason and a purpose for all this. I needed to humble myself and continue to seek for answers, figure out why it was so hard to find someone to join my pursuit. I needed to have faith. I turned to my Kuya Alex, a Filipino-born businessman with a foot in both worlds, having businesses in the Philippines and businesses in the US. Maybe he had some insight that can help me. I told him how hard it was, and he kindly listened. With much wisdom, he began to ask questions. Where have you been searching? What have you been doing? Have you met anyone that was interested? I answered the questions, but I think I more so vented, and he listened. He then asked me to describe my ideal employee. That's when I remembered some goatee dude that helped me and some friends at a coconut farm a couple years before my move. I ran into him at a family gathering. He was in the circle, but he was already working with a close cousin. Darn! But I described this guy, I remembered, to Kuya Alex. Being a pleasant guy with a smile you can't forget, he was an awesome tour guide from what I can remember from the farm. He spoke English well, made us laugh, and he was a local. He had good energy, good enough that he made an impression on me. Sometimes the easiest solution is right in front of us, and all we need is for someone to point us in the right direction. That's how God used Kuya Alex. He suggested that I ask our cousin about this guy, if she knew someone like this guy, or even if this guy has a referral for me. Well, I learned this guy's name is Von Rex, aka Bonyek. But wait, I couldn't steal a worker from my family. That wouldn't be right. If our family thought I was stealing workers, that would be bad. But that was someone I thought I could roll with. But what if he didn't want to work for me? I've been rejected over and over. Kuya Alex said, what could hurt from asking? You're not stealing, you're just asking for help. This was a reminder of how God speaks to us. Not often does he speak to me directly. Sometimes in visions, sometimes it's more like inception, and I just know. For sure, through the word of the Bible. This time, it was from the wisdom God put in my corner. For that, I am thankful. Right after I got off the phone, I did exactly what Kuya suggested. I made the call to our cousin. We had a good conversation. Ate asked me questions like, what position are you trying to fill? What does the person need to do? How much are you willing to pay? Do they have an experience? And a few more questions about the position of the job. And that was it. That was the conversation. Still, nobody wanted to work for the vision. No interest, nothing. But this time, I was at peace. I knew I would just have to continue forward, looking and searching. A few days passed and I got a message. It said, call me, and it was Ate. I jumped on the call, and at this point, with not much thought, Ate asked me for clarification on what I was willing to pay, and I gave her a good range for this type of work. She then said, Bonyek is a good worker of mine. I asked him if he knew anyone that would work for you, but I think this would be a good opportunity for Bonyek to work for you. I was in complete shock. Ate had already told Bonyek it would be okay if he decided to work for me, and that he was such a good worker that if things didn't work out, he would have a place back with her. Ate and Bonyek had a moment. Their emotions were all over the place, and Bonyek was nervous, curious, and willing to try it out. Now all that needed to happen was for us to sit down and talk. We set it up for the next day. Look who's here.
Good morning.
I was pretty excited to meet Bonyek and to get to know him a little more. I wanted to share my ideas, and I wanted to get my first employee. Great thing was there was a sense of peace that was present. Even with the slight language barrier, we laughed together, I explained things, and he seemed to be down to try. Lots of it was new for the both of us. At the end of the day, the answer on the spot was yes! Finally got my first employee, and he is an awesome one, a godsend. Together we started to go on a bunch of adventures. I really enjoyed his playfulness, his knowledge, and most of all, his willingness to believe in a vision that helping others through our business would make the business even more successful. And so the journey to getting to know the community deeper began. I was able to bring on one person after another. I was able to access the community as much as a local that had been living here for years. Our pursuit of coconuts went from a concept to reality. A few things I do not take for granted: trust the process and have faith. A few things I learned about the community: that they value security rather than the chase of idea or money. Things spread through word of mouth fast here, that's another one. And that the people here are more simple than I could ever have been prepared for. The simplicity of community, the simplicity of a good time, and the simplicity of someone who would care for them more than just chasing ideas and dreams. It is humbling, kind of addicting, and I think God is using the people here to change me rather than me thinking I can quote unquote change things. For better and for best, the pursuit continues.